type state. In other words, crime has the upper hand. And if that is now seeped into our prison system, we've known for years that gangs do operate. We saw recently in 2 public prisons where syndicates were taken down that were operating from behind prison walls, operating an extortion scheme outside where they had e-wallets, they had cell phones, they had access to funds, computers, etc. So it's not unusual for prisoners to engage in criminal activity. What's unusual is to see a case of this magnitude involving such a presumably secure facility where it's obviously just money and connections that have been able to allow for such a daring escape to take place. And there, of course, lies the problem. If other prisoners have access to money and they have access to a network, are we going to see more of this?
And I mean, just going back to your comments about the parliamentary protection that G4S now has, I mean, we know that MPs have asked for another meeting and they have demanded that G4S, be present in that meeting. But as you say, G4S has said that they want a more formalized structure so that they can then, operate within the confines of the law. But the question then is, will they be held accountable? We know that their contract is running out in a couple of years, but will they be held accountable? I mean, should there not be some form of accountability, even from government side, when these contracts are drafted up with these private institutions, so that we can have people being held to account for this escape? I mean, you mentioned, just some of the victims that are out there and how they may be feeling because of this daring escape, as we say.
So ultimately, Department of Corrections is responsible, and they have to supervise the private prisons, and the private prisons themselves operate, as I said, on a for-profit basis. There was a very interesting document that was written regarding this called Merchants of Misery back in 2019, specifically about Mangaung, and that was made into a documentary called Prisons for Profit. This particular prison and G4S has been around the private prison space in South Africa for 25 years now. I think it was back in 2020 they said that they wouldn't be bidding when this particular prison comes up for bidding once again in 2026. Their contract expires in early 2027, and they've indicated that they won't be bidding. The best option would be for government to take back that prison and for DCS to employ their own staff, their own warders. It will save the taxpayer a significant amount of money because we're paying more for private prisons than we're paying for normal prisons. But of course, we have to address the fact that this happened on somebody's watch and there will be accountability. How that accountability is going to work, I don't know. Will there be lawsuits? I'm sure there will be. Are people living in fear that a person that may have attacked them previously or threatened to attack them, or they were saved from being attacked, is out walking, and what kind of anxiety that causes them? That is a serious issue. Should he do something while he's on the loose and it's proven that it was due to incompetence, negligence, corruption, or all three of the above, then I foresee that there will definitely be litigation in respect of an action taken by any victims outside of the prison that may be impacted, including the family perhaps of the person whose body was used. We still don't know whose body it is. We still don't know who the family is. And they've been prejudiced in the extreme that a body, we don't know whether the person was alive when they were taken. We don't know if it was a body that was bought from a mortuary. It's just a very sick set of circumstances, and people justifiably will require redress.
Yeah, a sick set of circumstances and still so many more questions than answers. Thank you so much, Chad, for your time this afternoon. Really do appreciate your insights. Chad Thomas, CEO there at IRS Forensic Investigations.